At the beginning of the 19th century is the moment where you begin to see the specializations and the growing importance of doctors in our society. And that's true throughout the West. And at that point, the only public asylum was Bethlehem in Britain. There was one in Austria and so on as well. And the causes of people's disorders had very, very few names, and they were usually linked to life. So the largest category of causes of illness, of mental illness, was misfortune. A very large cause was love. And I wanted to know how we had moved from one understanding of the human mind to another, and one in which there are so many ways of being crazy, many of them attached to a drug, a chemical from the big pharmaceutical industry.
You mainly focus on women in the book. Is there a lack of crazy men?
No, there are a lot of crazy men. I think it's quite a universal condition. I don't think women are crazier than men, but it is true that women go to doctors more than men, even now, although it's shifting. I think men's relationship to their bodies and to their minds has been historically, I don't think this is genetic, has been historically slightly different, and so they don't look for help in that way. In England, and I think probably here too, there's a kind of old adage which says women go to their doctors and men go to the pub. I think Freud is a very, very great writer, and his observations and his attempts to think about the human, I think, are still important and still give you insights. That doesn't mean that you have to agree with everything that he wrote, and he himself didn't always agree with everything he wrote. He kept changing his mind. I think Freud invented a very interesting technology for therapy, and he's a great writer. And that's probably enough. The epidemic of depression, which is another great condition of our times. I mean, you know, people have always been melancholy, people have always been sad, as I say in my book, and people go up and down a bit, you know, we can't be happy all the time. But a medical condition called depression really began to generate its hugeness, its kind of multiple sufferers, to the point where the World Health Organization has said that in 2010 it's the most prevalent disease in the West and the second most prevalent disease throughout the world. It's extraordinary. And it is seen because of the drugs that we have had available to treat this, and the drug companies actually created in part the disease. And then we have all these new conditions as well. I mean, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, the DSM, talks about SAD, S-A-D, which is social anxiety disorder, which is actually what we know quite easily as shyness, and it's been turned into a kind of abnormal entity. Well, a lot of people are shy. You know, it's fine. You don't have to have social anxiety disorder with a medication attached to it to get through life. You may suffer a bit, but you know, suffering is just part of life after all. It's not something for the doctors to necessarily interfere with. What are we really saying? What helps people? I think so. What helps people is a particular kind of attention and a particular kind of belief. Sometimes a particular kind of drug. Drugs have, as I said, always been used in one way or another. You know, the effect of a very cold bath on your brain is also a brain effect.
Yeah.
And so on. And all I'm saying is we need to be a little bit cautious about what we imbibe and what we believe, and that maybe our ways of understanding evidence are not quite as clear as they need to be.